The night is like ink, and the city on the first lantern is like a sleepless giant beast, swallowing and emitting colorful neon light. Qingyu's apartment is located on the top of an old high-rise building in the city center. Outside the window is a skyscraper with high clouds. LED billboards are flashing ads endorsed by celebrities, and the air is filled with a mixture of coffee and electronic smoke. He pushed open the floor-to-ceiling window, and the wind squids surrounded the far-flung wings, making him slightly browse. Here is his castle, an underground studio filled with servers and screens. The wall is covered with various circuit boards, which are as orderly as abstract paintings. Qingyu leaned on a chair of human engineering, put on a VR lens, and danced on the virtual keyboard with both hands. He is 25 years old, his thin figure is wrapped in a loose black hoodie, and his hair is terrible, like a genius who just popped up from a science fiction movie. At this moment, he stared at the strings of codes on the main screen, and a playful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. "Come on, little thing, let me see what secrets you have hidden," he murmured, his voice low, carrying the fatigue of the urban nightclub. The goal is a firewall for a small company, an online business that specializes in healthcare products. Qingyu was originally a boring one and only accepted the order. The customer opened 500 blocks of money on the black market forum and asked him to borrow some data and take a look. To him, this is just a hot body. With his fingers, the green code on the screen rolled down like a waterfall, and each line twisted like a living thing. He activated his own ghost footprint script, a gadget that can be disguised as normal flow, and instantly passed the first layer of encryption. "Ha, is it so crisp at the first minute?" Qingyu smiled, narrowed his eyes, and focused on tracking the data flow. In his vision, this process is like a high-speed chase. In his virtual vision, the firewall turns into flashing blue walls, and his fingers are like sharp blades, cutting and cracking. The touch feedback was transmitted from the VR gloves, and the slight vibration made him feel the resistance of cutting. In the air, the studio's air buzzed, mixed with the rhythm of his knocking on the keyboard, like an electronic interlude. Suddenly, the second layer of encryption pops up, a monster based on quantum tragedy, and it takes several days for ordinary tourists to chew. Qingyu was calm and switched to an autonomous AI assist module. On the screen, the red warning symbol fell like a rain, but he just hummed lightly, "Try to use the old one to knock me?" Naive. He injected a series of self-edited chaos algorithms, and the code began to evolve itself, penetrate like a virus. Within a few seconds, the wall collapsed and the database door opened. Internal documents are flooding, sales records, customer lists, and even the boss's private email. He pulled out a copy and glanced at it. It turned out that the company was suspected of cheating on orders. "It's boring." Qingyu slammed his head, copied the key data, and then implanted a hidden back door to let the customer go to play by himself. In less than 5 minutes, he leaned back to the back of the chair, took off his eyeglasses, and rubbed his son's hole. This feeling always makes him go up, like conquering an invisible city, surrendering at his fingertips, and that kind of control pleasure will be able to fight any party. Just as he reached for the energy drink beside him, his phone vibrated. Call to display, strange number. Qingyu took a brow and started, "Hey! Who? It's so late." At the end of the phone, there was a dead silence, and then a female voice came, trembling quickly and trembling, It's Qingyu? I'm Yutong, Li Zhe's sister. Come and save him. He's being beaten." Qingyu's heart sank suddenly, and the drink can in his hand hit the ground, and the green liquid swelled all over the ground, giving off a pungent sweet smell. Li Zhe? That celebrity friend who always smiled and pulled him to KTV to sing old songs? The famous singer Li Zhe is in a state of great enthusiasm recently, and the concert tickets are instantly lost. Qingyu's brain buzzed and said, "What? Fighting? For more details." Yutong's voice continued, like a cloud blown away by the wind, "Just tonight, on his way home from the studio, the bandits sent me a video, asking for 50,000 yuan in bonuses. They said, if they didn't transfer, they would tear the votes. I'll send you the video, please, brother Qingyu, you are the only hacker friend that brother Zhe trusts." He always said that you can crack everything in the world. Qingyu's face was blue and his fists were white. The flame of revenge rose in his chest. He was not a hero, but Li Zhe was the few who regarded him as a brother. That year, Li Zhe was red and did not forget his roots, and he also introduced the black market business. Don't panic, I'm watching the video now. He opened the phone, grabbed his phone, and clicked on the file posted by Shirtong. The video was encrypted, but to him, it was just a disaster. The finger flies to enter the command, and the codes flash by, and the encryption layer shatters like thin ice. The picture jumped out. The dim warehouse. Li Zhe was lifted on a chair, his mouth was covered with a rubber strap, and his eyes were filled with fear. The lens swayed, and a man wearing a mask approached, shaking the rubber belt roughly. Li Zhe gasped and shouted, "Yedong! Tell them, I have no money. This is a trap." The man sneered, and his hands cut the screen to the black screen, leaving only a line of text: "Transfer to the designated account, otherwise the next video is the corpse." Account information follows behind, a string of overseas shore numbers. Qingyu's breathing became rapid, and his anger made his veins swell up. "Bastard!" he murmured, his heart as if it was a thunderous storm, astonished as the tide came. Li Zhe's face was always flashing in the brain with a silly smile. But soon, the shock turned to a certainty. He is not the one who sits there and waits for him. Police? Those bureaucrats have to delay for several days. He wants to come by himself. He quickly connected to his own server, activated multi-layer agents, installed them into bank traffic, and directly rewarded the Jinsi accounts transfer system. This system is top-level, embedded in the anti-invasion trap, but Qingyu's golden fingers are shining at this moment. He imagined that data was like a river, his own consciousness was like a fish, and he could easily swim through many network connections. On the screen, the code was like smoke. He passed the biological identification, cracked the two-dimensional code verification, and finally diamonded into the core data stream. "Wait, this is not right," Qingyu said softly, his eyes widening. The John Qin account was originally a dead end, but the data flowed to a hidden spot, a string of unusual transfer records pointing to the dark web server in Southeast Asia. What's even more strange is that there is a set of symbols attached at the end, like an ancient rune, clinging to the binary code, as if mocking his invasion. This is not a simple siege. Money is flowing to a larger network, with the shadow of organization behind it. Financial quarrel? Or something more dimmer? Qingyu's heartbeat was accelerating, and this was the tip of the iceberg. He felt the smell of the air, like the sudden chill in the studio. The door was shocked, as sharp as a warning sign. Qingyu stood up alertly and looked through the cat's eyes. A girl stood outside the door, with long hair and red eyes, which was exactly the word. She was wearing a simple denim trousers and wardrobe, and a tight handshake in her hands. She looked out of 20 and fragile. When he opened the door, Yutong almost came in, and his voice choked. "Brother Qingyu, thank you for answering the phone. I don't know who to look for." The police said that the certificate was insufficient and they had to wait for the robbers to contact him again, but Brother Zhe couldn't wait. She wiped her eyes and passed the U-board. "This is Brother Zhe's car record that night. I copied it from his car. There is a monitoring clip inside. Can you watch it?" Qingyu took the U-plate, patted her on the shoulder, and made her moves unexpectedly gentle. His personality was originally withdrawn, but the appearance of the word Tong was like a long light piercing his dark studio. The desire for protection quietly surged. She was Li Zhe's sister, just like her own family. "Sit down and have a drink." He poured a cup of hot cocoa and sent it to her. "I just cracked the video and account. Not a single money, there are cats behind it. Those symbols, I have to dig deeper." The verb was pointed at the head, with hope in his eyes. "Brother Zhe always said that you are the most harmful and can invade any system. When he debuted, you helped him repair the fan website, and since then, he will be a brother. Please, save him." Her voice was filled with a crying voice, which made Qingyu's heart softer. He thought he was just for revenge, but now, he has an extra responsibility. "I will," Qingyu said, his voice must be like iron. He turned to the screen, and the strange symbols were still flashing, as if calling him into the rabbit hole. From now on, we chase each other. This is not the end, it is the beginning. The studio lights reflected on his face, and neon lights rushed in from outside the window, indicating that a storm was about to come. He knocked down the last command, and the data began to follow, and the suspicious curtain slowly opened. The air in the studio became sticky, mixed with the sweet aroma of hot cocoa and the faint metal smell of the electronic equipment. Yutong sat on the edge of the sand, holding the cup tightly with both hands, and her fingers turned white, as if she was catching the last straw. Qingyu turned around and faced the screen, and the strange symbols were still hidden in the data stream, mocking him like a ghost. He took a deep breath, and the night wind dripped in from the window, bringing smoke from the street to the fire, reminding him that this was not a game. Yedong, do you think Brother Zhe has received those threatening emails recently? Qingyu asked, his voice low and his eyes did not leave the screen. He said, and his fingers tapped on the keyboard, starting a tracking script, allowing the data of the Sun King account to continue to move backstage. The linguistic pointer was pointed, and the sound was shaking. Yes, it started last week. He originally thought it was a fan's malicious drama, but the email mentioned data transaction and said submit your fan list, otherwise the consequences will be negative. Brother Zhe did not take it seriously and wrote several messages, but the last message. He told me that he felt that it was not right. The email was posted from an anonymous server, and I had a screenshot. She tuned the picture from her mobile phone and passed it. The screen is a standard email interface, with the sender having a string of codes, and the main body has only one line: your light will be swallowed. Transfer data, or witness a crash. The attachment is empty, but Qingyu could tell at a glance that this encryption layer is not simple. Qingyu's eyebrows were tightly locked, and a familiar anger surged in his heart. Revenge? Yes, it was Li Zhe's stupid boy at first. But now, when he heard this, he flashed the first scene of Li Zhe who asked him for a midnight snack after he had reddened that year. That night, the street was covered with hot lamb skewers. Li Zhe patted his shoulder and said, "Brother, if you were a policeman, his mother would have solved countless cases. But I like you, free and easy." The friendship at that time was like the smoke in the night sky in the city, and it was short and simple. Now, it has become his sect, allowing him to move from a single pure personal grudge to a more general righteousness. This kind of sacrifice cannot swallow more people. He slammed his head and felt aroused. I have to contact an old acquaintance. The police can't rely on us. He snatched Jiahao's number, which had been stored for 3 years and had not called it several times. Jiahao is an old-fashioned criminal policeman. That year, Qingyu accidentally helped the police to chase a network case. Since then, this guy has become his reserve contact. The phone rang 3 times, and the low male voice came from the head, the sirens scattered around the background and the buzzing of the coffee machine. Hey! This number. Qingyu? Are you fucking at midnight? Brother Jiahao, there is no time to go. Li Zhe was dismissed and won 50,000 yuan. I just invaded my account, and the data was abnormal. The money was not flowing straight, but turned to the dark network, and there were a bunch of inexplicable symbols scattered in the transfer account. It was not a simple raid. I suspected that there was a group. Qingyu's words were flying fast, as if chasing an out-of-control car. He sent the screenshot and Yutong looked at it tightly. The phone was silent for 2 seconds. And then Jiahao's voice became severe. Li Zhe. That singer? You should die. We just took the case, but the evidence was insufficient and we were about to file a case. Wait, I'm here now. The address will not change. Your broken apartment? Before Qingyu could reply, the phone rang. Qingyu turned his head to Tong. He came. Jiahao is an old dog with a sharp nose, but his brain can sometimes turn. My virtual invasion, and his legs and feet on the spot can replenish each other. 20 minutes later, the door flakes were reeling. Jiahao pushed the door in. His tall and strong figure was covered with the door frame, and he was wearing a navy dress. His mouth was loose, revealing the old scars on his neck. As soon as he came in, He heard the tight smell in the air, glanced at the screen wall of the studio, and browsed. Boy, you are still so chaotic, like a black marketplace. Show me the data. He pulled a chair and sat down. The chair squeaked and protested. Yutong stood up to let the seat and smiled awkwardly. Qingyu clicked on the file, and the green data on the screen meandered like a river. Look, here. The gold medal was transferred from the domestic bank and disguised as an investment, but turned into the Southeast Asia departure account. What is the symbol? Like an ancient password, embedded in the binary system, I have initially interpreted it. It is a coordinate or command. Jiahao leaned closer, his eyes narrowed into a piece of silk, and touched the beard on his chin. It's interesting. I brought the file. He took out an encrypted U-plate from his shirt pocket and inserted it into Qingyu's machine. There are 3 recent celebrity misses, an actor and a net, all of which are similar techniques. Jean asked, but the money evaporated as soon as it arrived. The police suspected that it was the same group, but it was not true. Your data was matched. The records of those missed cases also point to the same dark network IP. He put it on, patted Qingyu on the shoulder, and the strength was as heavy as an old friend. Boy, I owe you this time. From now on, we will take a file. You invade, I chase people. The police resources are for you, but don't come around, and I won't carry the blame when I step on the mine. Qingyu clicked his head and slided on the corner of his mouth. This was the first time, and he felt that the weight of his partner was not a lonely army. Jiahao's live skills, like his hacker's gold finger, adds blind spots. Do it. But help me verify this email first. He turned to Yutong. Click it to me. Yutong passed by his mobile phone, and his eyes were filled with light. Brother Zhe became nervous after receiving these. I always said that someone was staring at his fans' data, those lists worth the money, and could sell things to advertising companies or even more dirty. He wanted to tell you, but he was afraid of being tired. Her voice choked, and Qingyu's heart tightened. The recollection came again. Li Zhe said drunk that night, Qingyu, if something happens to you, you have to help me wipe my butt. Now, he not only wants to wipe it, but also burn the pile of shit. Revenge has become a mission, and he wants to be fair to all victims. This change is like a data upgrade, which will make him more sober. I'll come. Qingyu put on the VR lens, and the world instantly turned into a virtual ocean of data. The email server is a fortress, embedded with multi-layer encryption. The first layer is standard SSL, the second layer is quantum cryptocurrency, and the third layer is self-suited to AI protection. The pressure came, the heartbeat was like a drum, the air conditioning in the studio became harsh, and the car outside the window was flowing like the background music. He activated the Goldfinger, the self-made Phantom Diamond algorithm, an invasion tool that can simulate AI thinking. His fingers danced on the virtual keyboard, and in his vision, the encrypted wall was like a blue steel. He imagined that he was a diamond, buzzing and whirling. Come on, bite me. Qingyu murmured, sweat beads slid down from the magnitude, touching the gloves to transmit resistance, as if cutting physical metal. The first layer shattered, like cracks in glass spreading, and the refreshing fragments made him slay. The second level is stronger, the AI starts to fight back, and the red warning is like a bloody rain and try to lock his connection. Qingyu gritted his teeth and injected chaotic variables to allow the algorithm to evolve itself. Codes are like a living creature twisting, layer push, cracking the chaotic value, tracing the AI learning curve, and each step is like a lock to unravel the topic. Readers can feel that level of pleasure, not blind pleasure, but intellectual victory, and data surrender at the fingertips. Finally, the server door opened. Email source appears, a black market IP located in an underground server farm located on the edge of the city. Qingyu tracks the flow of gold, and the screen jumps to the offshore account, the spirit company of Cayman Islands, with a very different amount of money. Finished. Money was imported into the Shadow Network group, but... He took off his glass and his face turned pale. On the screen, at the end of the account diary, there are those strange symbols flashing, like runes dancing in numbers. This time it's clearer, a cross line within a circle pointing to the financial chart, suggesting that manipulation of the stock market may be a bigger challenge. Jiahao came up with his eyes widened. This symbol, there are also in the file. The missing case is on the scene, and this is the one with paint on the wall. It is not a siege, but a cover. Behind it is a data empire, where celebrities get fans' information, sell it to the black market, manipulate discussions, or make mistakes. You should die, this group is amazing. Yutong covered her mouth and the water slid down. Brother Zay, he knows too much. Qingyu stood up and tightened his fists. The pain of growth is like current, from a selfish hacker to now, he can see the silhouette clearly. This is not just saving people, it is dismantling the bullet. We need more threads. There is a thread called Ting on the black market. He owes me a favor. I have to go there and dive into the underground forum and dig his bottom. The family was so proud that he stood up and put on his clothes. I'll accompany you. But be careful, the streets are no more holes than you. Outside the window, the night was darker, neon lights were like ghost fires, and the doubtful shadows were stretched, indicating that the door of the black market was about to open. Qingyu grabbed his coat, his heart beat faster, and then stepped towards the unknown deep penis. The studio lights were particularly dazzling at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the blue light on the screen reflected on the faces of the three, like a white mask. Qingyu rubbed his eyes, and the air was filled with the fast food flavor brought by the family's fortune, the oily hanbao and potato strips, mixed with the fragrant scent of the linguistic hot cocoa, making the entire space feel like it is temporarily fighting. He leaned back to his chair, staring at the email journal that he had just cracked, and his brain was still silhouetted with the symbols. Brother Jiao, can you verify this IP? The black market server farm is located in the edge of the old industrial area. I followed roughly the coordinates, but it needs to be confirmed by the official map. Jiao chewed the last bite of potato strips, wiped his mouth, took out his tablet from his clothes, and practiced as if he were old smokers. Of course, boy. Do you think I've been idle for 20 years? He went to the police station's internal network, entered the password, and popped up an encrypted map on the screen, marking the IP location with the red point. Look, here. The old ship transformed warehouse group is a logistics company, which actually rents it to hackers and smugglers. Last year we raided once and caught a few small fish, but the big fish slipped away. Your data is worthy of the day of gold flow, and it is hidden in this ghost place. He enlarged the picture, and the street scene photos appeared, the iron door with a raw wall, the wall was covered with dung spots, and the neon lights at night were flying from the distance, like ghost eyes. The Sing-Tong approached, holding her knees tightly with her hands tightly, and her voice was as light as an ear. Brother Zay's concert sponsor has a warehouse nearby. He always said that there is a fish dragon in that side, so please don't go. Her eyes were red, and she showed stubbornness, which made Qingyu's heart softer. He thought he had been alone in his habits, and the world of hackers was already alone, as if he was sailing alone in the ocean of data. But now, Yutong's eyes looked like an essay, dragging him down and not letting him be calm. Okay, pass the verification. Qingyu pointed at the head and turned to Jiao. Now, let me see the police monitor. The screen of the night of the raid was released by Li Suk from the studio. Jiao hesitated, glanced at Yutong, and then entered the command. Video clips popped up on the tablet. Urban streets, the asphalt road after the rain reflects the road lights, and the car slides like a silver snake. Li Zay's luxury car appeared in the screen, with the black car flashing under the neon light. As he got off the car, he smiled and snatched his hands at the assistant, and then walked towards an alley. Suddenly, an unlicensed bread cart rolled out, and 2 figures were slapped on them wearing hoods, moving as fast as a wolf. The screen shook, and the door slammed off, and the bread car accelerated and left only the flood water. Let it slow down here. Qingyu pointed to the screen and narrowed his eyes. Jiao clicked, and the picture was frozen on the gangster's figure. Look at their hoods, not ordinary fabric. The angle of the reflected light. This is a high-tech obscured map that can interfere with red and thermal imaging. Street corner monitoring is supposed to capture the car license plate, but it is blurred here, as if it is wiped out by an AI filter. He tapped the keyboard, connected to his own server, and added the analysis software. Data flow: the gangsters will become translucent on the red exterior map, and the carriage is disguised and installed into normal logistics. This is not a street gangster, professional level. The group has money and skills, specializes in celebrity strife, and behind it is a data player. The face under the beard was tightly swaying. Yes, we suspect Shadow Network, a transnational criminal alliance. It specializes in the data of celebrity fans, sells them to political and business mafia, and controls the options or stock market. In the Mist case, 2 victims were tech giants, and their databases were looted. He patted the table, the chairs creaked, and the smell of oil in the air suddenly became suppressed, like the heat before the storm. Yutong's breathing became rapid. She bit her lip and finally opened her mouth. Brother Qingyu, I have to tell you something. Brother Zhe recently participated in a charity project called Starlight Data, which is a free education platform for trapped fans. He collected tens of thousands of user data, which was originally kind-hearted, but there are sponsors behind the project, several big companies. He told me that after the data was online, someone threatened him to delete some records, saying that he was angry and said he was angry. He refused, and then, the raid came. Her voice was trembling, and the water turned in her eyes, and she was holding back and did not fall. The studio's air conditioner buzzed, as if echoing her heartbeat. Qingyu's heart sank, and this story was like a key, unblocking the symbolic group. He looked at Yutong, and a warm current surged in his heart. In the past, he always cracked it on his own and enjoyed the high control. But now, her trust is like a mirror, reflecting his loneliness. He never thought that the team could make him stronger. Thank you, Yutong. This is the key. I invade the Starlight database to see what's wrong. He turned to Jiahao. It takes me 15 minutes for you to guard the door. Jiahao stood up and held the door, like a flesh wall. Okay, but don't be too wild. The police station has a back door, and I will open the green light for you. Yutong gently held Qingyu's arm, and the warm touch made him stunned. Believe in you, Brother Qingyu. Brother Zhe said, you will never disappoint your friends. This sentence was like current, shaking his spine. The days of the lonely army war ended, and he began to rely on these people, Jiahao's resources and Yutong's courage. This turn hurts, but makes him more complete, like data being pieced from fragments into a full picture. Qingyu put on VR lenses, and the world collapsed into a virtual data forest. The Starlight database is a fortress, with cloud servers spread all over the world. The first layer is biocryptography, and the second layer is dynamic firewall. He turned on his golden finger, and the phantom diamond buzzed and turned, and he felt like he was diamonding in a green mist. The fingers danced, touching the gloves to transmit resistance. The first layer shattered, refreshing as if tearing off the gift paper. The reader followed his vision, data flowed like a river, and he went upstream and started to remove the records. Removing the traces, interesting. Qingyu murmured, his heart was so simple and profound. In the past, he only invaded for himself, but now, for a team, this responsibility is like a shackle, which has liberated him. Suddenly, the police contacted. The red flash comes like a whip, and the tracking program starts. An AI-suited dog locks his IP, and tries to reverse invade. Outside the studio, the window glass vibrates slightly, as if it is actually intertwined with virtual relationships. Come and chase me. Qingyu smiled softly, growing agile and quick-witted. He was not panicked and injected chaos changes, allowing the phantom diamond to be cloned into 100 ways, and disguised it into harmless traffic and spread into the internet. The AI dog snatched a blank space and the red light was irritated. After the opportunity, he reversed the data and used a self-editing recovery algorithm to lift fragments from the backup fragments. Screen exploded, user list, donation record, and symbols. Scattered rune fragments, like spellings, round circle crosslines, cluttered numbers sequences, pointing to stock market codes and offshore accounts. It's great. Qingyu's heart was shocked. This was the first appearance of the mystery. Symbols are spelled out, a financial proof diagram. Li Zai's data is used to manipulate charity funds and turn to the money-washing pipeline of the film network group. Privileges? Among those sponsors, there is the shadow of political leaders. Readers can feel the satisfaction of the unblocking. Each piece of fragment is like a buckle, and the silhouette is floating, not blindly trying to win, but a layer of reasoning that makes Qingyu transform from a hacker into a detective. The warning was calmed down, and he took off his glasses and his face was swelling. Jiahao patted him on the back. "Boy, you're fucking well. The alarm has been reported, and I'm also jumping at the same time." Yutong relaxed her voice and smiled and said, "You have done the symbol, just like in the video." Qingyu gasped and turned his heart into a tide. Trust your partner is not a weakness, but a weapon. He looked at them, and for the first time he felt that he was not alone. This project is a cover. Li Zai refused to deny data and irritated the group. They hurried him, not just for money, but for a snatch. The symbols are their internal tags, instructions to control the flow of data. Jiahao put away his tablet and his eyes flashed. Next, the black market. I have a thread. That boy. He is mixed up in the underground forum of the old ship and sells information. Your IP matches his spot. We will answer tonight. Yutong stood up and wiped her eyes dry. I'll go with you. You can't always hide here. Qingyu wanted to do so, but when she looked at her calm eyes, she looked at her head. This is his growth, no longer just letting her participate. The three of them put on their coats and pushed the door open. Night winds, the scent of the harbor and the low birds of the far distance boat. The neon lights of the city raise their shadows, the direction of the old industrial zone. The lights of the black market are hidden, like the entrance of a rabbit hole. Qingyu held his phone tightly and his heart beat faster. With this step, he stepped into the deep impurity of the underground world, and the team's erectile dysfunction made him braver. The air in the old industrial area is like a fish soaked in the sea, scattering the pungent smell of lenses and diesel. Qingyu and the other two opened Jiahao's old police car, and the engine roared lowly through the foggy alley. Neon lights rolled into the car window from the far-off code head, reflecting the white face. She shook her hands tightly, and the screen was still on the screen when Li Zai missed the timeline. Brother Qingyu, it's so beautiful here. Brother Zai's car was robbed from here. Her voice was as small as ears, with a stubbornness, which made Qingyu unable to help but turn around and look at her. Jiahao held the steering wheel, his eyes slapped the lens, and the gun sling under his clothes bulged. Boy, don't underestimate the black market. There's a slut here, and the guy from Muting is slipping like a mud. The last time I caught his little brother, he still smiled and smoked. Remember, we're here to talk about business, not to cause trouble. He turned to the table and glanced at Qingyu. I'll take your invasion plan outside. Whenever I have a tail, my people will arrive in 5 minutes. Qingyu clicked his head and put on his hood, and felt his heart beat like a drum. The black market is not his home, he is a virtual war scene with data, but tonight, he has to step into this quagmire. After the car parked in a hidden cabinet, Jiahao closed the lights and the three of them slipped into a narrow alley. The wall is covered with a dotted duck, and the QR code is hidden, and you can see the entrance to the hacker forum. Far away, the low-frequency vibration of underground music comes, like the hearts fighting. The air is filled with a mixture of smoke and sweat. They opened an entrance that was decorated into a waste iron door, and there was a black market connection, a semi-underground bar with dim lights, and the tutor behind the bar was a sturdy set full of facial tattoos. The customers were in groups of 3 or 5, talking in a low voice. Some were wearing VR lenses, and some exchanged discs, as if they were conducting a concealed auction. Qingyu glanced at the corner of Yuding, the tall and thin guy, wearing flash LED zippers. His hair was dyed blue-green, and he was talking to his 2 younger brothers. Yunting. Qingyu approached, his voice was low. Jiahao and Yutong followed behind and dressed up as his partner. Yuding raised his head, narrowed his eyes, and a fox-like smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Yi, Master Qingyu? A rare guest, you are not often seen in the black market. Did you hear something happened to Lizzie? TSK, the troubles in the celebrity circle always pull us these little sluts. He let his brother retreat and signaled Qingyu to sit down. The wooden head of the bar is sticky and the smell of beer foam comes to your nose. Qingyu went straight to the topic and released the U-panel. Don't miss it. You owe me 2 favors. Last time I helped you catch up with the FBI. This time, I'll switch to the symbol cable. Those things are embedded in the Qingyu data, not indiscriminate foils. Yuding connected the U-disc, inserted it into his handheld device, glanced at the symbol, and his face changed slightly. Interesting. I've seen this thing, at the dark network auction. The changes in ancient encryption originated from the Nazi Code of War II, mixed into modern AI algorithms to hide financial data. Want to know more? The hacker circle has no free lunch. He approached, his voice was as low as the ears. I have a rival, the guy Ghost Fox who beat me up a large order. His system is a quantum firewall, and I can't crack it. You help me steal his customer list and exchange me to give you the full symbol interpretation, including the internal instructions of the film network group. Qingyu had a snake, and this was the black market story, the story of the exchange of information. There was always a knife hidden behind it. Jiahao was coughing slightly beside him, his words were close to the symbol on the U-disc, and his eyebrows were compared to the phone. Wait, the time when this symbol appears matches the missed story of Brother Zay. Last week, there were similar patterns for his threatening email. Junting, are you sure this is a Nazi code? After Brother Zay's charity project, the sponsorship funds evaporated. Her analysis was short and accurate, which made Junting's eyes lit up. The little girl is good, her eyes are vicious. Yuding smiled, but she didn't relax. Trade? Qingyu, the server of the Ghost Fox is deep in the forum. I will give you the coordinates of the back door. But remember, in this circle, trust is a luxury. Qingyu pointed at the head and his heart sank. He thought hackers were a free game, but tonight, the beam of this double-blade sword pointed directly at him. From his own invader to now, he began to be cautious. Every step has to calculate the way out. The 3 left the bar and slid back to the counter. Jiahao leaned against the door, clicked a cigarette, and the smoke spread out in the night wind. Boy, the goods here are not reliable. My people are patrolling around, and he is playing tricks to catch him into the bureau. Yutong pointed at her head and passed her timeline to notify her, look, here. The first time the symbol appeared was the day when Brother Zay refused to record the data. It matched so coincidental, it must be the mark of the group. Qingyu took a deep breath and activated the VR device on his palm. The threat of the black market is like a shadow. When he left, he felt someone was walking behind, and the sound of the steps in the alleys seemed to be hidden. His heartbeat accelerated, and he was afraid of coming like cold water, but he gritted his teeth. He couldn't retreat. This was a breakthrough for Lise's courage. Dance with your fingers, and join the back door given by the court. The world becomes a virtual forum. High-security hacker forums are like steel castles. The first layer is dynamic honeypots, which are disguised as harmless discussion areas. The second layer is quantum criterion encryption, and the third layer is AI guarding like a dog patrol. Come on, face you. Qingyu murmured, sweat beads slid down the head, touching the virtual resistance of the gloves, as if cutting the physical iron network. The reader followed his vision, the data flowed like a storm, and he activated his golden finger phantom diamond and his clone penetrated. The first layer of honeypot pops up, pretend to be a discussion string and try to put on his belt. He sneered, injected the chaos algorithm, disguised it into internal traffic, and easily drifted over. The refreshing reversal came, fear turned into excitement. Every cracking layer was like tearing a terrifying face, and readers felt the climax of courageous face against the shadow of the black market. The second layer of quantum encryption is even more ruthless, with particles like chains slitting, AI guards smelling strange smells, red warning flash, and the forum starts self-destructive mode. Qingyu's heart was pounding. In fact, the wind in the alleys blew cold, and Junding's smile flashed in the brain. Will this guy sell him? But he did not retreat. and his growth cautiousness allowed him to open 3 more agents to reverse the AI learning curve. The fingers are like flashes, the code twists like a living snake, and finally diamonds enter the core, the customer list of ghosts and foxes appears, and there are traces of the movie network group in the list, offshore accounts and celebrity data transaction records. Finished. Qingyu's heart was so naive. Hackers are not toys. This double-blade sword can save people and destroy themselves. From his own unscrupulous behavior to now, he has learned to be cautious in every step as a team leader. Suddenly, it turned around. During the acquisition, a private message popped up. Yuding's ID, which was the ghost fox, has been alerted and the IP is exposed. Sorry, Qingyu, I was bought. The betrayal was astonished as thunder, and Qingyu's face turned pale. Yuding sold him? For what? But he didn't panic, and the counterattack was as fast as a flash. He switched the script and tracked John Ting's message path from the Ghost Fox system, and found clues. The message is created, with quantum delays in the middle, pointing to the trap of the Shadow Network. It's a pity to die. Qingyu was depressed and quickly implanted antivirus, allowing AI to fight against each other. In the fragments of the forum, he got the symbol discussion string. The user posted anonymously, "These symbols are changes in Virginia passwords, mixed into blockchains to hide financial data flows." Film Network uses it to control the stock market, and scrambling celebrities is just a point of entry, retrieving fan data, creating transactions and washing money by billions. Data came like a tide. Qingyu took off the device and gasped to Jiahao and Yutong, saying, "Ting has not betrayed. It is the group's handle. I want to put on the hook." I countered, "He owes me a greater favor now." Jiahao whistled, "Boy, I've grown up. You used to be single, but now you will use your brain." Yutong's eyes lit up. Symbol interpretation. Brother Zay's data was used to make charitable donations and turned to the stock market manipulation. Time is all about, and this is the tip of the iceberg of the financial coral plan. Qingyu pointed his head, and his heart turned like a data upgrade. Being cautious is not being too small, but a weapon. He urged Yuding's encrypted line, "Brother, I've gotten your betrayal message. Is the movie network eyeing you? Now, we're even. No, I owe me more." The symbol points to their money-washing network, helping me dig deeper. At the end of the phone, Yuding's voice was still shocked. "Qingyu, you saved my life. Okay, I'll give you the internal map." The movie network's head is at the depth of the old ship. The night wind was even more urgent, and the 3 of them got on the car and left the black market. In the engine, Qingyu stared at the symbol wheel on the palm. A preliminary picture of financial corals emerges. The siege is a cover, and the data is a spy, shooting towards the dark hearts of government and business. Li Zay's fate is in conflict with the entire city. He held the direction plate tightly, his family opened, his heart beat faster, and the silhouette was like a map, pointing to a deeper purity. The alleys are full of lights and fires, indicating that the next invasion will soon open the curtain. The night winds in the old industrial area were still filled with the smell of the sea. The tires of the police car roared on the slippery asphalt road. Qingyu held the steering wheel and his palms were sweating slightly. Jiahao sat in the sidekick, clicked a cigarette, and the smoke roamed inside the car, like a thin fog covering the neon lights outside. Boy, the black market trip tonight is worth it. The trace of Yuding has always made the pile of sluts look like a ghost. He spit it out and turned to look at the slut in the back seat. "Girl, are you okay?" "I'm the first time I stepped into that ghost place, my face turned as white as a ghost." Yutong leaned on the back of the chair, hugged her knees with both hands, and smiled reluctantly. I can hold it back. Brother Zay always said that the black market is the dark side of the city, but with you here, you are not afraid." Her voice was gentle, carrying a new life. Qingyu glanced at her from behind, and a warm feeling surged in his heart. In the past, he always faced the cold ocean of data on his own, but now, this team seemed to have an extra layer of protective cover, making him no longer so isolated. The car turned into the city center, and the studio's lights came like a light tower. The 3 of them pushed the door in, and the air still had the taste of last night's fast food mixed with the buzz of the electronic equipment. Qingyu put down his coat and headed straight to the main screen. The encrypted file posted by Yuding has already jumped out, a bunch of symbols changes, a circle of cross lines and tangled numbers, like ancient talismans embedded in modern blockchains. "Come on, let's take this thing open," he said. His voice was filled with excitement, his fingers danced on the keyboard, activating the interpretation software. Jiahao sat down after a chair and rubbed his son's hole. "I'll talk about my part first. Just outside the black market, I let the team touch the suspect's point, the small wall around the logistics warehouse mentioned by Yuding. When it suddenly broke out, he grabbed two small walls, a guy with a tattoo on his body. He took out several photos from his clothes and threw them on the table. The dim warehouse, the painted symbols on the wall were exactly the same as those in the data. They asked, "This is the movie network's tag, used to mark the flow of data. It's not for money, but for his fan list. The pile of data is worth billions, which can control the stock market discussion." Yutong looked closer to the photo, her eyes narrowed and bit her lip. "I understand Brother Zay's psychology a little bit. Before his debut, he was an orphan. Fans said to him like family. He would never hand over the list, even if he was killed." She took out a small notebook from her bag and flipped out the dense notes. "This is the victim file I have sorted out. Brother Zay has been under great pressure recently and has threatened emails. He had insomnia, but when he refused to deny data, there was light in his eyes, that unyielding tyrant. The next step for the bandits should be to force him to sign a self-replacement agreement to create charitable funds to flow to the stock market." He predicted that they would use psychological warfare to generate more videos and create pressure. Her analysis was clear, and although the sound was soft, it was like a soft knife, and it was directly hit by the key points. Qingyu heard it and felt aroused in his heart. Yutong is not tired, she is the eyes of the team, making the yin turn from abstract to concrete. "Okay, psychologically predict the opposite path. We are analyzing the symbols now." He clicked the software, and the symbols on the screen were like a spelling rotation. The circle represents the blockchain point, the cross line is the transaction path, and the digital sequence hides the instructions. This is not a simple password, it is dynamic. Embedded into the stock market API, it can generate trading volume and control stock prices. Jiahao pointed his head and patted Yutong on the shoulder. "Girl, you're fucking well. Your file has saved us half a month of investigation." Yutong's face turned red and smiled. "Thank you, Uncle Ao. I just don't want Brother Zay to die in vain." At this moment, the air in the studio warmed up, as if the tacit understanding between the three was quietly deepening. Qingyu saw it in his eyes and flicked his heart. Revenge was originally his fire, but now, the fire is in a larger range. We cannot just save Li Zay, we have to remove the Lord who controls thousands of people. "Ting, it's up to you." Qingyu sent the encrypted video, and the head of Shouting's face jumped out. The background was a terrible basement, LED lights. "God, thank you for last time when I took the knife. My back door is stable." The edge server of the movie network is specializing in handling data transactions in Southeast Asia cloud. "Join us?" "Okay, I will give you the quantum tunnel, you are the main focus of the firewall." Yuding's voice was smooth as the black market habit, but there was a real sincerity in his eyes. He owed favors, and he knew how to behave. Qingyu put on VR lenses, and the world instantly twisted into a forest of data. The tunnel of the Ting is like a green pipe leading to the edge of the server, a fortress hidden in the cloud. The first layer is a multiple honeypot, which is installed into a harmless stock market database. The second layer is dynamic quantum encryption, and the third layer is AI dog patrol. In the air, the studio's air buzzes, mixing the smell of jiahao and the rustling sound of the linguistic melody, allowing real interaction with virtuality. "In," Qingyu murmured, his fingers flashing on the virtual keyboard. "Touch the gloves to transmit resistance, like cutting steel wire." The first layer of honey pot pops up, fake transaction records. He sneered and injected the self-made phantom diamond. The algorithm is like a virus clone, which is disguised as an internal inquiry and can be easily passed. The refreshing fragments flowed, the data flowed like a river, and he went upstream, and the readers followed the scene, watching the honeypot collapse, and each piece of shattered opens an iceberg of stock market manipulation. The volume of the transaction was created, pointing to several blue stocks. Yuding's voice sounded in the headphones. "It's good, great God." The second layer of quantum slurred, "Particles are dead, I'll interfere with you." Qingyu pointed his head and injected chaotic changes to speed up the diamond's rotation. The quantum lock is like an invisible shackle, trying to figure out his connections, and the red warning is like a bloody rain basin. But he was not panicked, and his golden fingers looked. Phantom Diamond evolved itself, simulated the behavior of particles, and reversed the relationship. The chains broke, and it exploded happily. Layer data. The siege record is complicated, among which Li Zhe's fan list was converted into a proof algorithm, injected into a stock market model, and predicting stock price collapse. "Wait, this size?" Qingyu gasped, his heart was shocked. The third-level AI key dog came and grabbed his clone with his claws. He gritted his teeth and attacked, implanted anti-learning scripts, allowing the key dog to destroy itself. The firewall collapsed, and a large number of symbol data were extracted. The cross line in the circle pointed to specific transactions. Funds controlled by the Film Network Group laundered money by billions, and used celebrity data to create a hot investment wave. The readers experienced a climax of reasoning. Each data is like a lock and clenched, and the financial corals are formed, from the siege to the giant network that is manipulated by the stock market, and the level of pleasure is like a deciphered fire. Suddenly, the original turn appears, a hidden diary pops up, and the end of the symbol is the signature of a politician. The mayor's letter, a man named Chen, authorizes data to transfer. Politics? You should die. This is not just money, it is a game of power. Qingyu growled, took off his glass, and his face turned blue. Jiahao came up and his eyes widened. "Messenger Chen? There is a shadow of him in our file, suspected of being corruption. But it is about political slander, and the group used the stock market collapse to select and hold a code." Yutong covered her mouth and her notebook fell on the ground. "For Brother Zay's charity project, there are donations from Mr. Chen. He was used." Qingyu leaned back to the chair, and his heart was like a crazy wind. At first, it was just for Li Zhe to revenge, and the fire was small and fierce. But now, facing this network, manipulating the stock market, retrieving data, and political and business links, he was shocked to breathe. Social justice? This word has been heard empty in the past, but the team's eyes, Jiahao's shoulder pats, and Yutong's trust have made it real. He changed from an introverted hacker to a demolitionist. He could not save only one person, he had to be the dark spotlight of this city. "This group is too big, we have to be careful. If the political world steps in, the police will get stuck." Wang Ding's video was still there, and the voice was urgent. "God, I have also dug up the transfer records of member Chen here. The core database of the movie network is at the depth of the old ship, at the quantum level. But they warn that your invasion left footprints, they may be rebelling." He got out of the cigarette and stood up. "I'll take the team to block the edges and catch more evidence. Qingyu, are you ready to invade the core library on a large scale? This time, don't fuck, we'll be all over." Yutong pointed and shook his hand tightly. "Together, Brother Qingyu. Brother Zay will be proud." Qingyu looked at them and his heart was as sure as iron. This turned into pain, but made him stronger. Outside the studio, the sky before dawn was gray, the sirens were hidden away, and the crisis was like a shadow. He knocked down the final order, followed the IP of the core library, and his heart beat faster. The war is about to begin, the ghost of the political world is waiting deep in data, and the team's erectile dysfunction is his only shield. The air in the studio was filled with tight current, and the buzzing server sounds and Jiahao's footsteps were integrated. The gray light before dawn swept into the gaps in the window, reflecting the tired and defensive faces of the three people. Qingyu stared at the main screen. The IP coordinates of the core database were as flashing as red cables, and the entrance to the quantum tunnel just transmitted by Yuding was still counting down. He took a deep breath and felt his heartbeat synchronize with the rhythm of the keyboard. "Brother Jiao, you have a team to raid the edge of the old ship, and I will invade the core here. The sage will give real-time information, chant, you keep the symbol and interpret it. Whenever there is a new thread, shout immediately. Jiahao put on the buttons of his clothes and checked the guns at his waist, and practiced as if he was a veteran. Boy, remember, don't be strong. The police have blocked the intersection around the streets, but the shadow network helps the bastard, and maybe there is an ambush. Whenever I feel calm, I will send a signal. He patted Qingyu on the shoulder, and the force was as heavy as if he was passing on something invisible, turning his head to the word tong tip. Girl, don't panic. Your notebook is our backing. Yutong held the notebook tightly, her eyes flashing. Uncle Hao, go. Let's wait for your news. Brother Zay, he will be fine. Her voice was just in her soft voice, warming Qingyu's heart. He used to be alone in data purity, but now, this mutual trust seems to have an extra layer of firewall, making it less likely to collapse. Jiahao pushed the door away, and the door closed was in the studio. Qingyu put on VR lenses, and the world collapsed into a virtual forest of data in an instant. The green tunnel extended like a blood vessel, leading to the core of the shadow network, a steel castle hidden in the Southeast Asia cloud. Yuding's voice sounded in the earphones, bringing the black market habits to a rapid pace. Great God, the tunnel is stable. But their AI defense has been upgraded. Quantum level will be suitable for your invasion path. I monitor the channel in the black market. Whenever there is a ghost in the dark, I will report it first. Qingyu hummed lowly, thank you, man. Let's start. The fingers danced on the virtual keyboard, touching the gloves to transmit the first resistance, like opening the fog. The first layer of defense is a dynamic honeypot, which is disguised as a harmless trading database, popping up fake stock market fluctuations, and the test picture makes him deeply trapped. Qingyu sneered, injecting the clone of Phantom Diamond. The algorithm scattered like a ghost, and was disguised into internal inquiry traffic. In his vision, the honeypot cracked like glass shattered, and the refreshing fragments swelled, but he didn't relax. In the past he always slammed to the end, but tonight, he learned balance and left 2 back doors, which stuck and could return and come back. First, past, he murmured, sweat falling down the head. The air storm of the studio blew up, mixed with the rustling sound of the lingerie flipping pages. The vernacular closes the screen and stares at the symbol silhouette that just pops up. Brother Qingyu, this new symbol, the crossing line in the circle has changed a little. The crossing point is like a cardiac image, suggesting emotional pressure. In Brother Zay's video, when his eyes are flashing, the background is similar to the pattern. Perhaps, they are using him to test the number security, forcing him to enter his fan password and verify the system loopholes. Her interpretation was like a flash, and Qingyu's eyes lit up. Good eyesight. Keep staring, I dig deeper. At this moment, he felt the teen was biting, and Yutong's straight vision filled his data blindness, making the invasion no longer an isolated army. The second layer of quantum encryption is like an invisible shackle. Particles are scattered and the AI dog is snatching, and the red claws are grabbing his clone. In the headphones, Wang Ting shouted urgently, police. There is a sound in the black market channel, and the ghost inside the shadow network is regulating the old ship of unmanned aircraft patrol logic. Be careful on Jiahao. Qingyu's heart sank, and he switched his eyes. Jiahao's raid team had reached the edge of the ship, and the night video lens returned to the screen. At the entrance of the warehouse, Jiahao's team broke through the door, and the sound of guns suddenly rose. But suddenly, a hidden trap popped up on the ground, a high-tech network, with blue arc flashes, and 2 policemen fell to the ground and twitched. Die it! Jiahao's roar came, boy, they have EMP improvisation. The communication has been interrupted, it's up to you. Crisis was like a tide. Qingyu's virtual world swayed, the quantum locks tightened, and his connection began to break. The invasion failed edge. The red warning was like a bloody rain in the basin. The AI dog bit his back leg, the data flow reversed, and the reverse tracked his IP. Sweat soaked in his clothes, and the studio's lights became dazzling. He gritted his teeth and said, you can't stop. In the past, he would be forced, but the cautiousness of growing up appeared. He stopped attacking, retreated to the tunnel, and analyzed the AI model. Finger re-editing scripts, injecting chaos changes, allowing Phantom Diamond to simulate the dog's behavior and reverse the situation. In view of the situation, the chains are broken like smoke, and the excitement is bursting, the crisis is transformed, and the readers are immersed in the cracks of hackers. Every second of the reverse is like a heartbeat, and success is like unblocking the final distance. It's reverse. Qingyu growled, and the third-level firewall collapsed. The core database door opens, and the symbol core appears, a huge network map. The circle is a Shore account, and the crossline connects the stock market API and political signatures. Member Chen's authorization documents are listed. The huge Scourge plan is exposed. Film Network uses celebrity data to create a hot investment wave, wash money by billions, controls selection of funds, and has no chance of seeing the dark empire that is tied by government and business. Li Zhe's fan list was used as a test, forcing him to enter a verification code to confirm the data is safe and implant the rear door virus. Brother Zhe. They treat him as a testimonial. Qingyu murmured, his chest burning with anger. Yutong's voice sounded, with a trembling, yes. The emotional hint of the symbol, the cardiogram pattern, is the record of pressure tests. Brother Zhe's video, the background symbol is in the flash, which is monitoring his collapse. Wang Ting added, black market information confirms, the core is hidden in the B-level area of the ship's deep layer, and they have a secondary victim, a red assistant, who is being kept in place for testing. Jiahao's communication recovered and he gasped and shouted, boy, we broke the internet. But there was an unmanned group of machines in it, the laser network. I caught 2 guards and tricked them. Li Zhe was in the deep, but there was a trap. Qingyu didn't hesitate and shared the data pictures. Jiahao brother, there is a hidden passage at the entrance of Area B, and it is traversed from the east side of the warehouse. The unmanned aircraft frequently interferes, now. He implanted a virus, and the unmanned aircraft was flying in a hurry. In reality, Jiahao's picture was relayed, the raid team rushed into Area B, and the guns intersected with the Ark. The original transformation came, the team member kicked open an iron door, but the young woman tied up Xiaowei, a red assistant in the net, had a rubber band on her mouth and her eyes full of shock. Jiahao unzipped her and asked anxiously, where's Li Zhe? Xiaowei gasped and took out a miniature chip from the neckline. He is in Area C. They forced me to enter data. This is the backup, the fragment of the ultimate password. The core of the symbol is hidden in the chip. Qingyu scans the chip farther and the data flows into a string of changing symbols pointing to the ultimate encryption of the shadow network, a key that can unlock all the washing paths. Xiaowei, thank you. You saved us. The family was protecting her and evacuated her, crying in the message, tell Li Zhe, I've stopped. Qingyu's heart was tightened. This rescue was not a simple battle, but a living rescue, allowing him to change from a cold-blooded hacker to balance speed and be cautious, not for himself, but for these innocent people. Team interaction deepened. Yutong held Qingyu's arm. Brother Qingyu, you did it. Brother Zhe is about to rescue him. Yuting smiled in his ears. God, you won this round. The black market owe you a big meal. Jiao's voice was rude. Boy, it's okay to trust you. Our elves are harder than any firewall. Qingyu took off his glass and felt a little bit short of his heart. The previous stimulus almost destroyed everything, but tonight, be cautious and let him reverse, and the team keep him intact. This growth is like data upgrade, and it hurts to be liberated. But the climax was not over, and the reaction at the end of the chapter was like a shadow falling. The screen suddenly blackened and an encrypted message popped up. Intruder, the game ended. You are the next goal. The Film Network's counterattack started. Qingyu's IP was exposed, and the citywide monitoring network locked his apartment. Outside the window, the sirens approached, not Jiahao's team, but a private security team bought by the group. Junning shouted anxiously, God, run away. They have made a fortune, and the black market is full of movement. Yutong's face turned pale. Brother Qingyu, let's withdraw. Jiahao's communication continued. Boy, come to the police station to get in. They are eyeing you. Qingyu grabbed the jacket and chip, pushed it open, and the night wind blew the sound of the tire friction at the distance. The pursuit was like a tide. He pulled the sermon into the stairs, and the plot turned into the stage of pursuit and escape. His heartbeats were like a war drum. The neon lights of the city stretched out shadows behind him. The fragments of the extremely password burst into flames in his palms, indicating a deeper storm. The iron door of the stairs slammed behind him. Qingyu pulled Yutong's arm, and his footsteps roared in the narrow space, like a heartbeat. They pulled down the last few stages, opened the back door and entered the alley, and the night wind sank. The sour smell of the trash cans came over. Far away, the sound of the wheels rubbing against the asphalt road is getting closer and closer. The black SUV turns into the alley like a ghost, and the car lights swept over the wall, reflecting a long shadow. "Quick! Here!" Qingyu growled, pulling the slogan into a narrower fork, and the two stood in the wall gasping. Her palms were cold and tightly held, making him feel the stubborn warmth. "Brother Qingyu, how did they know we were here?" Yutong panted, her voice stuttering, her eyes flashing, but she did not retreat. She took out her phone from her bag, and the light of the screen reflected on her white face. "Brother Zay's chip is still in your pocket, don't lose it." Qingyu pointed his head, and the microchip in his palm was burning like a fire. He whispered Jiahao's encrypted line, and the gun came from the headphones in Jiahao's roar, "Boy! Where are you?" "We just evacuated from the boat and grabbed 2 survivors, but the Shadow Network's dog legs caught up. The whole city was connected, and they bought private security." In the background noise, the engine sirens intersected, making Qingyu's back slam. The SUV's car lights were approaching the end of the alley, and he gritted his teeth. "Brother Jiahao, we are in the back alley of the apartment in the east." "Where is the Tsun?" "He needs his route data, shake off his tail." When the phone switched, Yuding's voice jumped in, and quickly carried the black market's slippery. "God, I'm listening. Your IP was exposed, and they used unmanned machines to lock the signal. I'll hide the route for you. The sewer network in the city center, the entrance is at the back of the cosmetic store at the end of the alley. Scan the QR code I issued and it will open the door. But be careful, the inside is damp and the signal is weak, so I can only navigate for 5 minutes." Qingyu scans the second-dimensional code on the phone, and a low buzz suddenly appeared on the wall at the end of the alley, and a door slid open, revealing the black passage. The SUV's car sounded, and the sound of the door handle turning made his heart beat and mist. "Go in." He recommended Tong to go in first, and the two slid into the passage. The door closed behind him, and the world became hot and damp in an instant, and the water droplets fell from the top and hit the shoulders with a biting cold. In the sewer, the foot was stepping on the clean water, and the air was filled with the odor of mold and sewage. Qingyu's VR lens was still hanging around his neck. He ran and activated his palm device. On the screen, Yuding's navigation diagram, the red line winds toward the city center. "Hold on. Jiahao will accept it," he said. The sound was calm in the dark, but his heart was like crazy. In the past, he always hid behind the screen in the studio, and the data was his shield. Now, the real pursuit is like a wild animal, and it is afraid that it will be like cold water, making his legs soft. Yutong suddenly stopped, turned around and held his arm, her eyes lit up in the glimmer of her phone. "Brother Qingyu, stop. Listen to me, you are not the same person. Brother Zay believes in you, we all believe in you. Just in the studio, you saved Xiaowei and cracked those data. You are already a hero. Don't panic, let's go together." Her words were simple, like a long light piercing through the darkness, and the warm palms spread strength. Qingyu was stunned. After the days of invasion alone, he thought that being alone was the king, but now, this emotion is like fuel, which makes the fear of scattering. He took a deep breath and pointed, "Thank you. You said it right, it's not a person's fight." At this moment, he felt the heavy lifting on his shoulders a little lighter, and quietly turned from the personal hero's stubbornness to the leader of the team. Cooperation is not burdensome, but strength. Yuding's navigation sound came from the headphones. "Turn left, there is a ladder up 50 meters. Jiahao's car is waiting at the exit." They climbed up the iron ladder, pushed open the well, and the night wind came again, this time the smoke was burned by the fire on the street. Jiahao's old police car parked on the road, and the engine was flying. He leaned out and shouted, "Go on! Hurry!" The three of them rushed into the car, screaming and knocking out the SUV behind them. Jiahao opened the car and glanced at the mirror. "Boy, it's very hard. The sewer trick is really good. The tales of Yuding's brain are really strong. Those tales are the top-level hiring hired by the group, but we have police support." The car turned into a remote and quiet industrial road and stopped in front of a deserted warehouse. Jiahao locked the door and the three of them rushed into the warehouse, with a pile of ginger boxes filled with gray and oil in the air. Yutong sat down with a breath, took out a water pot from her bag and sent it to Qingyu. "I just got scared to death after drinking." Qingyu took it, took a sip, and slapped the water down her throat, making her brain wake up. He took out the chip, inserted it into the palm, and rotated the symbols on the screen. "Now, analyze new threads." Xiaowei's chip has ultimate password fragments, crossing those transaction records. "Look, this points to the money-washing network of senior political officials. Chen is not just a shadow, he has his signature file in the chip, and the authorized funds are transferred from charity projects to offshore accounts." The family was approaching, and Naruto looked at the data. "Do you have to die? This network is big." The two tricks caught by the ship were just accused of the two men. There was a guy named Old Fox in the middle, who specialized in contact with politics and business. He is the key, a private club hidden in the city center. Yutong opened his pen and wrote, "The cross line of symbols is like money the way to flow." Brother Zay's fans are used to create a wave of donations, actually wash up the stock market, and manipulate stock prices. Chen's network involves at least 3 senior officials. This is a power game, and the squad is just a side dish. Her voice was filled with anger, and her eyes were bright, which was even more certain. Qingyu pointed at the head, and a sense of determination surged in his heart. He may still be there, but Yutong's words and Jiahao's support made him regain his confidence. "I'll cross-verify. Invade the official court database and check the property records of Mr. Chen. If it's right, it's the iron certificate." Jiahao looked at him with a sensation. "Boy, this is a high risk. The court system is a national firewall, and invasion is equivalent to communication. But... okay, I'll give you a VPN for the police station to cover the signal." Yuding's video jumped in, and the background was his basement. "God, I'll bless you. There's a loophole in the back door of the court in the black market. I just dug it out. But they warn that your invasion will be traced to the whole country. The lights in the warehouse are dim and Qingyu wears VR lenses, and the world turns into a storm of data. The handheld device is humming, the VPN tunnel is opened, and the court official website is directly involved. A steel castle, the first layer of biological encryption, the second layer of quantum cryptocurrency, and the third layer of AI monitoring network. The chasing of the ghost was swaying, and the sirens were hidden from the distance, and the buzzing sound of the soldiers was buzzing from outside the window, making his heart beat like a drum. Finger dancing, touching gloves to transmit resistance, like cutting a chain of wires while running away. "Come on, face fear," he murmured, feeling short and unreliable. In the past, he had been stimulating and almost fell into trouble. But now, the team's trust is like a backing, making him calm. It is not a heroic theory, but a cooperative wisdom. The first level of creatures pops up, scans his virtual fingers, and he injects data of creatures into it, and it flows over quickly, like tearing a thin fog. But the police found that AI monitors the red network began to tighten if a dog smells a strange smell. The unmanned buzzer approached the warehouse, and Jiahao said softly, "Boy, they are here. Hold on." Yutong held his hand tightly, and the real touch came. "You can do it." Qingyu gritted his teeth, and the second-level quantum storm was like an invisible wall, and the particles were locked in the dead, tracking his VPN in reverse. It is afraid that the current flows over the back and sweat soaks the clothes, but he does not retreat and starts the phantom diamond. The chaos algorithm evolves itself, simulates the quantum behavior, and reverses the chaotic value. In view of the wall cracks like a fire, and the readers in the high-risk reversal. The pulling of every second is like a striking epinephrine, and the thrill of intelligence that explodes in crisis makes the heartbeat synchronize. The third level of AI monitoring came, with Red Claws catching the tunnel, and the unmanned machine hit the rushing gate and transported the door, and the family pulled out their guns to guard the door. Hurry! Qingyu growled and implanted anti-learning scripts to let AI kill itself. The database door opened, and the court recorded. The property application of Chen's member was clean on the surface, but the cross-symbol path, a huge amount of unknown funds flowed in from the film network's offshore account, disguised into investment, and actually washed over billions of dollars. Senior official website revealed, 3 market officials signed trial authorizations, and stock market manipulation points to next week's choice. Iron certificate. Qingyu gasped and took off his eyeglasses, his face was swaying. The sound of guns suddenly rose outside the door, and the family opened fire. Get out. Let's run. When Wanding's video was still there, he suddenly fell silent, and then opened his mouth. His voice was rarely low. God, wait. I have to say something. Those symbols, I not only sell information. I was persecuted by the film network in the past. The 3 of them were stunned. Wanding's face turned pale on the screen. 5 years ago, I was a little hacker who dug up their edges. As a result, the group beat my sister and forced me to verify. She couldn't hold on. Now, I sell my romance to avenge me. But your team reminds me of the past. Qingyu, this time, I'm all in Lao Hu's club, with an internal map. I'll give you the back door. His eyes were red, and under the slippery outer shell, it was a deep pain, which made the air in the warehouse heavier. Qingyu's heart sank, and this reveal is like a mirror, reflecting his own lonely past. Brother, thank you. We are not fighting alone. Jiahao patted his shoulder. Boy, have you heard it? Cooperation is power. Yutong pointed at the head and the light flashed. Brother Ting, take revenge together. Brother Ting will thank you. Qingyu felt the inner change, from a hero who thought he was right, to now, he understood that the leader was not solitary, but to guide everyone. Yuting's pain, Jiahao's gun, and Yutong's support. Everyone was a picture to make him complete. The gun approached, and Jiahao kicked the door open. Let's go. The old fox locked up the Silver Fox Club in the city center, VIP room. He is a middleman, contacting the Chen staff and the group. We set up the bureau and remind him to come out. The 3 of them rushed out of the warehouse, and the police engine flew away their tails. Qingyu stared at the club map on his palm, his heartbeat accelerated. Suspicion turns to the initiative and strikes. No longer escape is the moment of trapping. In the night, neon lights are raising cars, and the lights of the Silver Fox Club are hiding in front of them, like nests of pets waiting for them to knock on the door. The neon signs of Silver Fox Club flashed in the night, like a cunning fox blinking, with luxury cars parked at the door, and the air was filled with a mixture of perfume and cigars. Jiahao's police car was disguised as a bored car and parked in the shadows across the street. He said to the headphones in a low voice, Boy, the club's internal monitoring on black. The VIP room is on the east side of the 3rd floor. The old fox has an appointment tonight, and the assistant of Chen's assistant will appear. Our enmity Yuting's fake transaction signal has been issued, and he thought it was a silence. The big single, get more celebrity data. Jiahao's voice was rough, carrying the old detective's chili. He checked the guns on his waist and turned to see Qingyu and Yutong. You are on standby on the car. Qingyu, invade his equipment far away, and I will take the team to catch people. Yutong, staring at the symbol, and shouting whenever there is a new line. Qingyu pointed his head, and the screen of the palm device reflected on his face, and the blue light made his eyes look more sharp. Brother Jiahao, don't worry. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi back door of the club to monitor Lao Hu's tablet and mobile phone. Yuting, you're going to rush their communication network, don't let the group call reinforcements. Yuting's smile was low in the headphones. Great God, cover it with me. There are their channel loopholes in the black market. I implanted a virus to ensure that their unmanned machines and internal ghost contacts are blocked. Start. Qingyu took a deep breath and felt his heartbeat accelerate like a data flow. This is not a single invasion, but the team's precision surgery, each with one ring, allowing him to transform from his previous solo act into a coordinator, no longer a cold-blooded code hunter, but the core of the Guardian. Yutong held the small notebook tightly and stared at the symbol-scattered film that had just been extracted from the chip. Brother Qingyu, I found a suspicious point in Brother Zay's timeline. His last note, the symbol is not ending, it is calling for help. Maybe, he left a secret number. Her voice was erected in the soft, and the light reflected on her face, showing her tired and unyielding will. Qingyu patted her on the shoulder. Okay, we are monitoring the digging. Brother Jiahao, move. Jiahao put on a wireless headphone, pushed the door open, and walked into the back door of the club with 4 plainclothes policemen, blending into the crowd like a shadow. The low-frequency vibration of the music rolls out from the door, mixing the streets with the flow of cars, making the night more depressing. The studio's back screen opens on Qingyu's palm, and the interior screen of the club pops up. Huali's Hall, Crystal Lights Sway, and Bare Language Transactions by Benki. Jiahao's eyes came, and he put it into a waiter and walked up the floor with a tray. At the entrance of the VIP room, 2 protective lenses are stations. The old fox, a middle-aged man in the top, wearing a pendant and leaning against the sofa, with the flat screen flashing against the data. Target locked. Jiahao earphones were low-pitched. Qingyu danced with his fingers, invaded Lao Hu's tablet Wi-Fi, and decorated it into the online traffic of the club. The first level of encryption is standard enterprise level. He slid over it lightly, and he saw it slipping into a green river, touching the gloves to lightly vibrate. I've gone in. Brother Jiahao, give me 3 seconds to implant it in the back door. Suddenly, Yutong was shocked. Brother Qingyu. Watch this symbolic film, the intersection of the circular crossline, not random, but Morse code. When Brother Zay flashed the video background, the symbol replicated the SOS mode. He was asking for help. There was also a hidden coordinate. The suburb of the city is scrapped, the depth of the area C. Her eyes widened, her fingers compared the plot on the screen, and her voice was shaking and excited. Qingyu's heart sank and his anger arose. Li Zay's stupid boy always hides a trick. Good, Yutong. This is a breakthrough. Brother Jiahao, Brother Zay's hiding place is confirmed, and he will stop the factory area C. Movement is accelerated. In the headphones, Jiahao hummed, received. Fengting, move. Wang Ning's voice kept up. Virus injection, group communication network was invasive. 3, 2, 1, shut. In the remote screen, the old fox's mobile phone suddenly blackened, and he knocked his eyebrows and murmured, "Don't die, why is the signal gone?" The police officers slapped intently. Jiahao took the opportunity to push the door in, and the gun was right. Police. Don't move, old fox. You were arrested, suspected of raiding and financial quarrel. The room was in a gang, and the guests screamed, and Mr. Chen's assistant pulled it out from the sofa and tried to smash the mobile phone sales certificate. But Qingyu was faster, and the assistant's equipment was invaded far away, and the data was flooded. Email records, transfer certificates, and iron certificates tied by government and business, the authorized funds from charity projects to the film network, creating stock market investment, and manipulating stock prices. Certificate is obtained. Brother Jiahao, the assistant's cloud has a signature file, and the clerk's pen. Qingyu roared, sweat fell down the head, and the night wind outside the studio blew in from the car window, bringing joy. The old fox was snatched by a hand, his face was green, and his family begged him down the building, and the sirens rose outside. In the car, Qingyu continued to unravel the symbols, and the silhouettes on the screen rotated and gathered. The circle represents the circle of discussions that the celebrity effect is, and the cross line is the flow of data to the stock market, hiding instructions to control panic. The whole picture is out. The movie network's cheating plan is not a simple washing of money. They use gang celebrities to create news, amplify fans' panic, and promote the stock market to collapse. Brother Zay's missed videos should be spread on the dark network, causing fans to sell related stocks, and the group absorbs at low prices, and then use scattering data to increase. Manipulate celebrity effects, create market panic, and make overnight profits. The lines of reasoning are like a picture blocking, the Moss secret number of the verbal, the ultimate fragment of the chip, and the old fox's trading records are all merged into a giant network. Qingyu's brain buzzed, and the moment when the truth was revealed, it was as refreshing as a data explosion. Readers gathered with multiple lines, and each piece of evidence was like a lock, and the aim came from hazy to clear, bringing a level orgasm of wisdom. But moral dilemma is like a shadow. Qingyu stared at the remaining account on the screen, with a total of billions of numbers flashing, and the black market forum popped up private messages. God, this data is worth the money. Sell it to me, embezzle half? Yuding's earphones were low. Qingyu, listen to me, I understand what happened to my sister in the past. Self-interest can be changed, but exposure can save people. You choose. Qingyu's fist tightly, and his heart was pulled. In the past, he had hacked countless systems, and he never had any handicaps for money or revenge. But now, facing this pile of evidence that it could destroy political and business, his brain flashed Li Zay's smile, his trust, and his grandfather's shoulder. Self-interest is like a greedy person, sweet and poisonous. If you sell it, you can stay in hiding and kill it far away. But exposed? It will cause a storm, destroy countless people, and save more victims. Sweat soaked in his clothes, he took a deep breath. No. All exposed. Yuding passed on a Jiahao police station case. Brother Zay's revenge is not for money, but for justice. This choice is like tearing off his skin, and liberation in pain. From selfish hackers to moral guardians, his growth changes in difficulties, and the team's elves made him determined. Jiahao besieged the old fox to the police car, and the picture came. The old fox suddenly laughed. Boy, do you think you caught me? It's over? The shadow network is not me alone. Jiahao kicked him. Close your mouth. Confession, reduce the punishment. But the old fox narrowed his eyes and glanced at the far-shot lens of the head of the image. Qingyu, tell your head that Mr. Chen is just a little fish. The real boss is the chairman of the Silver Fox Group, Zhao Tian, the mayor's cousin. He hid in the data fort in the back. The password is finally in my brain. But I turned against you and gave you a trace. The password is Ying47, and half hidden in the encrypted layer of Brother Zay's fan list. Let me go, and I vomited all of it. The original twist was like thunder, and Qingyu widened his eyes. Brother Jiao, he turned against it. Verification list encryption, I'm digging now. The old fox's eyes were flashing, not expectation, but a calculation of the solution. Or maybe, there were cracks inside the group, and he was tired of being a chess piece. Wang Ting shouted anxiously, God, please. The black market has its own voice. Zhao Tian is the core, and controls everything. His fortress is located in the suburbs of High-Tech Park, the center of quantum data. Yutong's voice kept up. The secret number of Brother Zay, the coordinates are on the factory's C area. It is not far from the High-Tech Park. They put it Brother Zay was accustomed to the end and guarded the ultimate password. Jiahao growled, boy, the evidence is locked and the old fox is back. We went straight to the factory to save people, but the sky surfaced. This is the prelude to the climax, the whole team of players. The police engine was rushing, and the old fox was taken away in the picture, and the knight thrusts the car. Qingyu closed the handheld device, and his heartbeat accelerated, and finally the fragments of the extremely password were circling in the brain. The core member of the group, Zhao Tian, is like a giant beast emerging, and the plot is towards the peak. It is no longer a chasing, but a battle that directly strikes the heart. Outside the car window, neon lights were like blood flashes, and the direction of the factory was wiped out and the lights were hidden, indicating that the center of the storm would swallow nothing. The iron gate of the scrap factory squeaked in the night wind, like a sleepy breathing. The police car parked in the shadows, and Jiahao took the lead in getting off the car, with the gun hanging down, slapped around the cabin and the walls of the walls. The air is filled with the smell of iron and sea wind, and the sound of the ferry on the remote code is hidden, making this place even more isolated. Boy, Brother Zay's secret code is located deep in Zone C. We are divided. I will lead the team clearing, you and Yutong guard the support and monitor the data. Jiahao said in a low voice, his eyes narrowed into a zither, and his clothes bulged in the wind. Qingyu clicked his head and pulled Yutong to follow him. The screen of the palm device emitted a dark blue light. Brother Jiahao, the back door of Fengting has opened. The old fox's reverse line, the password is open Enying 47, I'm digging. Yutong was tightly facing him, holding the small notebook in his hand, breathing rapidly. Brother Qingyu, Brother Zay's Morse code, can he hold back? Those symbols are flashing so quickly. Her voice was trembling, and she didn't take a step back, making Qingyu's heart warm slightly. He used to face the coldness of data alone, but now, this feeling makes him feel less empty. The three of them walked into the factory gate, and their feet stepped on the gravel and made a slight creaking sound. The policeman was scattered, and in front of him was a maze-like warehouse with spots on the wall, igniting the light of the LED lights. Suddenly, Qingyu's palm device buzzed, and a red alarm popped up on the screen, invasion detection. IP lock, quantum tracking starts. His face turned pale, don't die. Shadow network has reversed. They blacked my VPN tunnel and invaded in reverse. The data flow reversed like a wild wind, grabbed his claws at his back door, and tried to snare the entire system. The factory's lights suddenly flashed, as if they were controlled remotely, and the buzzing current sound came out of the wall, making the air sticky and suppressed. Protect your words. Jiahao shouted, and the sound of guns suddenly rose. Two black figures emerged from behind the warehouse, wearing night glasses, and acting as fast as a wolf. One of them was snarled, she screamed and fell to the ground, her mobile phone smashed to the ground and shattered. Jiahao slammed his shoulders and hit the bandit, and the gun hit the other party's knee, and the guy fell to the ground. Girl, don't be afraid. Leave down. Jiahao gasped in front of her. The second bandit opened fire. Zifu brushed through the container and sparks burst out, and the chips flew. Yutong curled up, her eyes widened. Uncle Hao, they have no humans. Sure enough, the buzzing sound from the top of the sky approached, and three small unmanned aircraft rushed down, and a red laser shot, like the sword of the god of death. Qingyu's heartbeat was like thunder, afraid of coming like a tide. In the past, he hid behind the screen and never faced the gun. But now, Yutong's screams and Jiahao's roar made his brain buzz. He gritted his teeth and squatted down, activated his golden finger, the phantom diamond algorithm reversed, disguised it into harmless traffic, and reversed the invasion source. His fingers danced in the keyboard on his palm, and he saw that the world was twisted into a data forest. When the quantum claws grabbed it, he injected chaotic changes, allowing the algorithm to clone 100 ways, and then bite the other tunnel. Yunting. Give me a quick data, this tracking is quantum level. He growled, his sweat slid down the head, touching the gloves to shake violently, like cutting a living steel. In the headphones, Yunting's voice was quick, God, receive it. The black market just intercepted their encryption channels. Those symbols are not ordinary passwords, but the essence of quantum encryption based on the dynamic changes of scattered particles. Each circle represents a qubit, and the crossline is the scattered path. The movie network uses it to hide the ultimate secret. The code, if you crack half of it, you can destroy their entire network. Ingting sent a data package, and the symbols on Qingyu's screen rotated and gathered. Shadow 47 opens the head to bite the qubit, spells out some instructions, the subpoint of the money-washing path, pointing to the three-plot transfer of member Chen's small amount, and records of charitable donations created. During the battle, Jiahao kicked the unmanned machine with one foot, wiped his clothes with a laser, and burned a piece of fabric. Boy, move quickly. These dog legs are endless. Yutong climbed up from the ground, lifted up her broken phone, and her voice was shaking and calm. Brother Qingyu, I saw Brother Zay's notes, the bit intersection of the symbol, sometimes poked. They are moving him. Her words were like flashes. Qingyu's eyes lit up, and her heart was as if it were a shackle. He always retreated to the unknown in the past, but now, for the team and for Li Zay, this may turn into fuel, making him fearless. Don't retreat. Kill. He murmured, feeling short and unreliable. What are you afraid of? Data is my weapon, and their invasion is just a handle to the door. From the hiding hacker to the present, he feels like a hero, and what he carries on his shoulders is not just revenge, but the darkness of the entire city. It's reversed. Qingyu knocked down the final command, and the golden finger showed the power of the magic, reverse tracking and locking the invasion source, Zhaotian's quantum data center, suburbs high-tech park. He implanted a virus and stormed the unmanned machine group. The sound of the buzz came to an abrupt end. The three machines were like wind storming, smashing sparks. The bandit was stunned. Jiahao took advantage of the opportunity to open the fire and knock down another one with one gun. Surrender. The shadow network is finished. Another test escaped, but Qingyu broke their telegraph from the far end, and the location signal was exposed, and the police surrounded him. The refreshing turn is like a fire, from passive escape to active retaliation. The readers, in Qingyu's vision, watching the data claws backfire, the intruders turn into treasure, and the hacker's counterattack is like a stimulus of epinephrine, and every second of the reverse turns brings the pleasure of intelligence. Qingyu stood up gasping, and the cracked part of the cracked finally appeared. The qubit unlocked the small-scale proof certificate, the transfer record of member Chen, and the 500,000 donations made were flowed to the movie network account to control a small number of discussions. It's over. Expose it to the media. He said. I clicked on the head and quickly connected to the anonymous channel of the black market with a tablet, and distributed the certificate package to 3 mainstream news stations, email screenshots, account transfer certificates, and symbol reading reports. On the screen, news push popped up instantly, and the headlines were flashed. Political corruption has been exposed. The financial tragedy behind the celebrity siege, and the member Chen is involved in the case. The discussion was like wildfires spreading, and the subsection of the shadow network began to collapse, and the group's internal communications were in trouble. Fuck beautifully, boy. Jiahao begs the bandits to come, wiping the sweat from his head, and the burnt marks on his sweatshirt were still experiencing smoke. As soon as these certificates came out, Zhao Tian was panicked. But what about brothers A? Yutong checked the notes and his face turned pale. Time poke. They just moved. From Area C to the high-tech park, Zhaotian's fortress. We have to be tight, otherwise it would be too late. The original turn was like thunder, and the time pressure was like blowing in the blast. The factory was even stronger, and the iron door was thunderous, as if urging. Qingyu held the palm device tightly, and his heart was as scared as iron. He was afraid that he would be gone, and replaced by a clear determination. He looked at Jiahao and Yutong, and Fingding's headphones were still there. God, the media is blowing up. The black market is all moving, and the dog legs of the movie network begin to fight inside. I will give you the final route, the coordinates of the back door of the quantum fort. Go! Qingyu said, his voice was fixed. The 3 of them rushed out of the factory, and the police engine flew away their dead tails. In the night, the direction of the high-tech park is brightly lit, like the eyes of giant beasts. The teams gathered in the car, the family held the direction plate, the verses released new maps, and the Sing-Ting extended to the data. Qingyu stared at the screen, and some passwords flashed, indicating that the final invasion of the war drum had been beaten. The neon lights in the suburbs are scattered, and the fortress in Zhaotian is approaching in front of him, and the center of the storm is about to swallow them. The entrance lights of the high-tech park are brightly lit, like a bloody mouth with a giant steel iron beast. The tower building in the center of the quantum data pierces the night sky, and the blue LED lights are as flashing as the air, and the hum of the cooling system of the machine room and the low-roaring highways are spread in the air. The police car was hidden in a tree on the road. Jiahao turned off the engine and turned around to look at Qingyu. Boy, this place is the heart of the movie network. The fortress in Zhaotian, the quantum firewall is called unrivaled. Our evidence was exposed, and they must have jumped on the wall in a hurry. Plan, I will take the team to suddenly move the point. The old fox confessed that the user is a copy of the B section. You are guarding the data, Qingyu. Your leader hacked their website. Where's Fengting? In the headphones, Fengting's voice was quick. Brother Jiao, I'm at the front of the black market, and the virus is in place. Master Qingyu, how do you say you want to fight? I'll follow. Qingyu took a deep breath and tapped his fingers on the palm of his hand. The screen reflected the blue picture of the fortress, the rear door seat just sent by Yuding. His heartbeat accelerated like a data flow. He used to be diving on his own, but now, the eyes of this team made him feel like he had upgraded. The host, Jiao's gun, Yuding's information, and his straightforward vision were all extensions of him. I heard, we are not hardworking. Let's first snare their external network. I implanted the chaos virus in hand and cut into the edge server. Brother Jiao, you break into the B area and grab the living mouth and tickling the sky and reveal the sky. Virtual, symbol interpretation, Brother Zay's Morse code film, hidden in the deep level of the head. The reverse rotation starts now. His voice was as steady as an iron clerk. Tong clicked his head and his eyes lit up. Brother Qingyu, hand it over to me. In Brother Zay's notebook, the bit intersection of the symbols is like a coordinate picture. I'll look at the side report. Jiahao patted his shoulder and pushed the car door. Boy, you have changed. You used to just keep the code, but now you are like a leader. Let's go. The policemen scattered, the night wind scattered around the rustling of the leaves, and the three of them moved separately. Qingyu and Yutong slipped into the transformer box around the park and hid it in the shadow. He put on VR lenses, and the world twisted into virtual quantum forests, green tunnels extending like blood vessels, straight to the outer servers of the fortress. Yuding's voice sounded in the headphones. Great God, the movement began. I cut into their dark network from the black market. You focus on quantum layers. The virus is a self-made spiritual tide, which can simulate internal traffic, messenger communication, and unmanned aircraft groups. Qingyu danced with his fingers, touching the first resistance of the gloves, like opening an invisible fog wall. Go! He growled, and the first wave of data flowed in. The external server was disarmed into harmless cloud backup, popped up a honeypot to slap fake transaction records, and tried to put him on the hook. Qingyu sneered, injected the clone algorithm, installed it into the group for internal inquiry, and easily drifted over. In view of the honeypot cracking like a shattered glass, and the refreshing fragments made him suck, but this was just an appetizer. Yutong squatted beside her, with a chip slammed in her palm, and used her phone to compare the symbols with a glimmer of light. Brother Qingyu, the crossline qubits. The intersection forms a straightness. The top-level depth is 3 underground layers in the tower building, and the core room of District C. Brother Zay may be there. Also, Mo's at the end of the symbol, spelled out the trader's inner. The wire left by Brother Zay. Her voice continued, very precisely as a laser, making Qingyu's brain flash. Great eyesight. Yuding, have you heard it? 3 underground layers, Area C. The virus locks the communication. Yuding snorted, received. The tide is flooding. The headphones were buzzing, the virus spreads like waves. The dark network at the front of the black market began to collapse. The group's unmanned aircraft group was flying over the park, and the red lasers shot the air-filled lawn, like a broken fire. Jiahao's communication cuts in. The background is the confusion of guns and footsteps. Boy, we entered Zone B. There are more than 10 guards at the transfer point, but they are in trouble inside. The media exposed the explosion, and then they started running away. I grabbed a middle layer and confessed that Zhao Tian was instructing in the core room. Brother Zay was taken there as a human being. Qingyu's heart was tightened, and Li Zay's smile appeared in the brain. The brotherhood was like an old code and would never be deleted. Brother Jiahao, hold on. After we rammed the network, you broke in from the back. He accelerated the invasion, and the second layer of quantum encryption came like an invisible shackle. Particles were crippled and closed, AI guards rushed out, and red claws grabbed the tunnel. The resistance drama increased, sweat slid down the limit, the VR world shook, the real alarm in the park was rising, and the red light swept over their hiding places. Don't die, this firewall has been upgraded. Qingyu gritted his teeth, his heart was as short as a flash. In the past, he was a genius, and he was rushing with his golden finger, but his own fault almost destroyed everything. Tonight, for Lise and the team, he learned to lead the team not to swallow profits alone, but to share the burden. Yuding added, "God, I'll split half of it." The black market has their quantum loopholes, injecting interference. The two people joined forces, and the algorithm was like a double snake twisting. Qingyu's phantom diamond main attack, Yuding's virus helps, and reverses the particles. In view of the situation, the chains are broken like thunder, AI is self-defeating, and fragments are like smoke. The reader is immersed in the climax of this ultimate decomposition. Layer encryption is like a collapse of the castle. Every time a layer is cracked, the pleasure of intelligence is bursting out. Quantum bit decryption, data flow reverses, and the pleasure is like a tide. The waves of layers push in, from the edge to the core to the withdrawal, allowing the heartbeat to synchronize the decrypted smoke. The deep-level door of the fortress opens, and the complete blueprint appears, the giant network picture scope. The circle is a circle of discussions for celebrity data, the cross-line connects offshore accounts and stock market APIs, hides instructions to manipulate global money laundering. Billions of funds flow from charity projects, manipulates stock price selection, and the dark empire with political and business connections is nowhere to be seen. Zhao Yin's signature file is listed, and the authorization frame is used as the entry point, and the fan list is transplanted into the virus, creating a panic in the market. "Get it all!" Qingyu gasped, and his words approached the screen. "Brother Qingyu, this blue picture. Brother Zay's data is used to predict stock disasters, and the group plans to collapse tomorrow to attract money. Expose it, it's completely ruined." Her eyes flashed with a slight light, holding his arm tightly. "You did it, from hackers to guardians. Brother Zay will be proud." The original twists and turns like thunder. At the end of the blue picture, a hidden message record pops up. The internal trader ID Shadow Fox sent a message to Qingyu's back door. "I am Zhao Yin's deputy, and I was forced into the pupil 5 years ago. The blue picture is true, but I finally hid the password. Xingying 47 Quantum Heart. Zhao Tian is in the core of District C, and Brother Zay was driven by the side. He has a self-destructive device, which breaks in 10 minutes, otherwise it will be completely exploded. Change me to freedom, I turn off the rear defense line." Qingyu was stunned, and Feng Ting was humble. "God, is this a trap? Or is it really rebellious?" Jiahao's voice cut in. "Boy, verify. We have arrived at the back door of District B, guarding it easily. There are people inside to open the way." Qingyu scanned the message path, and the quantum signature matched. "It's true. Traitors are resolving the rear defense line. Feng Ting, implant the password and open the C area. Brother Jiahao, please." The virus was injected, and the quantum firewall in the fortress was in full swing, and the lights in the park were frantically swept. Wang Ting shouted, "The door is open. All the unmanned planes are stopped." Jiahao led his team into the underground passage, and the gun was rumbling, and the chanting followed. "Brother Qingyu, the symbols are fully explained. The headquarters area C, the elevator on the east side is straight." Qingyu took off his glass, grabbed the device, and the inner electricity changed like a data rebirth. From the lonely wolf who resurrected his hatred to the righteous leader, it is worth the pain when walking this road. The mutual trust of the team is not a shackle, but a wing. He pulled up Yutong and said, "Let's go. Save Brother Zay in sight." The four of them merged and rushed towards the elevator. The red warning was like blood. The iron door of the core room opened at the far end of the trader, and the lights inside were dazzling. Zhao Yin's figure emerged invisibly, and Li Zay's breathing sound came from the darkness. As the storm peak approaches, the blue figures are swelling in Qingyu's palms, and the flames that are turning backwards are shaking as they are shaking. The door that saves the bell is about to be opened. The elevator door slid open in the low buzzing bird, and the dazzling blue light gushed out like a tide, reflecting the steel wheel in the core room. Qingyu took the lead, the palm device in his hand buzzed and vibrated, and the data jumped like a pounding. The air is filled with the pungent smell of machine room chiller, mixed with the overly burnt breath of the circuit board, making people unable to breathe. In the center of the room, rows of quantum servers stand like tombstones. LED lights are surrounded by strange symbol patterns, and the projected stock market chart on the wall is twisted and jumped, like a living thing slamming. Far away, Li Zhe was lifted on a metal chair, his head lowered, his breathing continued, and the blue marks on his face were intrigued by the light. "Brother Zhe!" Yutong's voice choked. She wanted to push forward, but Jiahao stopped. "Don't move. Trap." As the voice fell, a low smile came from behind the server. Zhao Tian walked out slowly, a man in his 50s, with a straightened face, combed silver hair, and his eyes as cunning as a fox. Behind him, two lenses held the guns to guard. The red lights in the room began to flash, and the buzzing sounded like a heartbeat. "Welcome, Mr. Qingyu. Hacker genius finally came. Your little kid has slayed my internet, but here? Quantum Fort is invincible." Zhao Tian glanced at Li Zhe and sneered, "Your friend is still alive, temporarily. But finally the password is in your brain, the traitor's stupid goods, thinking that if I sell me, I can change my freedom? Come on, try to crack it." Qingyu's fist was tightened, and his chest was so angry that he burst into flames, but he didn't move. His eyes swept over the server. "Zhao Tian, your empire is built on the sand of data. The political and business links, wash money by billions, control the stock market. Tonight, it all collapses." Jiahao pulled out his gun to the guardrail, put down the weapon. "The shadow network is over, the media has exploded, your officer confessed at the police station." Yuding's headphones cut in, gasping for breath. "God, I've gone from the black market to the back door. The server is broken, I'm here by myself, I just dived into the edge of the park, and it's 5 minutes." Zhao Tian laughed. Come on. Detective, lineman, victim sister, do you think the team can win? Technology is mine, right? That's a fairy tale of being a silly person. The confrontation is like a bowstring pulling tightly, protecting the lens and opening fire. Zifu brushes Jiahao's shoulders, and blood is rising. He growled, knocked down one against him, and the other swung toward Yutong. She screamed and flicked down a row of monitors, and the debris was quadruple. Qingyu squatted down while squeezing, "Activate the VR lens," and the world instantly turned into a quantum forest. The core system is like a chaotic palace. The first layer is the ultimate password defense, dynamic quantum siege network. Each bit twists like a live snake, guarding AI like a giant beast patrol. "Come," he murmured, dancing with his fingers, touching the gloves to spread strong resistance, as if cutting an invisible iron network. "I am afraid that I am as cold water." In the past, he always had a way out when he invaded, but here, failure means Brother Zhe's life. The beads of sweat slid down the head, the guns in the room sounded like thunder, and Jiahao's roar was rumbling. "Boy, hold on." Yutong gasped and climbed up, lifted up the chips on the ground, and approached Qingyu. "Brother Qingyu." Symbol translation: the traitor's quantum heart, is the core point of the bit. The intersection of the circle cross line, spelling out the command, self-revolution sequence, reverse turn. Brother Zhe's Morse code. Against this, he left a loophole. Her voice was rapid, her eyes flashed in the light, and her fingers flew faster, like unblocking the piano in the air. Qingyu's eyes lit up. "Okay. Yutong, continue to report. I inject it." His golden fingers opened, and the phantom diamond algorithm was like a storm, which was disguised into internal quantum traffic, and diamond into the first-level coral network. The AI giant came, and the red claws grabbed the tunnel. The warning was like a bloody rain. The server began to get hot and the smoke was spreading. "Yunting! Destroy the outer equipment!" Qingyu shouted. In the headphones, Yuding's footsteps approached. "Received. I'm in the electric box in Area B, cut off the power." The remote screen jumped out. Yuding was wearing a hood, slid the edge of the machine room, prying the electric box, and sparking 4 times. He smashed several cables, the server light flashed indefinitely, and the stability of the quantum network was shaking. Jiahao was replenishing his knife at the scene, and a gun exploded a control panel. The debris fell like rain. "The equipment is halfway, boy. The old fox of Zhao Tian is running." Xiao Yin's face turned pale. He grabbed Li Zhe's chair and shield and retreated back. "Impossible. you guys. But the blind spot fell all, and he was isolated and helpless. Crisis is coming in waves. The second layer of defense starts, the self-destruction sequence pops up, the walls of the room are roaring, the quantum bits begin to collapse, and the blue light is like an arc. Qingyu's heartbeat was like a drum, and he was afraid of rushing his spine. By accident, the whole room was destroyed and the team was completely finished. But Yutong's translation is like a light tower, Brother Qingyu. The reverse rotation command of the crossline, Heart 47 Shadow. Brother Zay's dark number is hidden in the encrypted tail of the fan list. Qingyu gritted his teeth, injected into chaos variables, and the golden finger evolved. The algorithm simulates the heartbeat of the bit, and reversed the path of self-destruction. In view of the view, the giant beast shatters like a smoke, and it revs backwards. The readers followed the tight pull, and the crisis resolved every second. Like the smoke that unlocked the extreme connection, the layer of wisdom and pleasure increased, from fear to courage, and the heart was pounding. It's broken. Qingyu growled, the third-level core data hole opened, and the whole picture of the political and business network was revealed. Member Chen's signature file, Zhao Yan's money-washing path, and billion-dollar stock market manipulation records were all iron certificates. He went to the media server from a distance, and a key was exposed. News pushes were like the virus scattered, and his head exploded. The shadow network empire collapsed. Zhao Tian has encountered huge challenges, and senior political officials have fallen into the battle. The black market forum exploded, and the ghosts in the group began to reverse the situation, and the unmanned group collapsed. Zhao Tian stumbled back, his face as if dead. You destroyed everything. Jiahao snatched up and held his hands. The game is over, boss. Your quantum dream is broken. Yuding gasped and rushed into the room, smashing the last server. God, the equipment is completely gone. Their network will be forever shut. Qingyu took off his glass, stood up and walked towards Li Zhe. His heart stormed. Technology is a tool that can build an empire and destroy the fortress. But right? It's not empty talk, but balance. He used to revenge the black system and almost lost in the darkness of data. But tonight, for Brother Zay and the team, he pointed the light with his golden finger. This fire hurts, making him complete, like a lone wolf turning into a guardian. Yutong unzipped Li Zay's rope. He raised his head and smiled weakly. Qingyu. Brother, you are here. Thank you. Xiao Shui slid down, and Li Zay hugged Yutong. Sister, tell you, I've stopped. I've kept those symbols on purpose. The smoke in the room dissipated, the police sirens were rising outside, and Jiahao begged Zhao Tian to leave. Boy, you saved the whole city this time. The media was broadcasting live, and the group's remaining party was being arrested. Yuding patted Qingyu on the shoulder. God, I owe you a life. Next time, I'll invite guests in the black market. Yutong held Li Zhe with his eyes lightened. Brother Qingyu, we won the favor. But, what about the remaining waves? The networks of those senior officials have not been completely closed. Qingyu pointed at the remaining data on the palm of his hand. Yes, the collapse is imminent. But with the last blow, I'll come. The night wind blew in from the broken window, carrying the dawn, and the lights in the park were scattered. Although the storm stopped, the remaining waves were like undercurrents, indicating that the final liquidation was about to come. The blue light in the core room became dim, and the buzz of the quantum server was like a dying breath, and the smoke spread out in the air, leaving behind a burnt circuit smell. Qingyu knelt beside Li Zhe and helped him untie the last tie. Li Zhe raised his head, and the familiar face turned white with a stubborn smile. Brother, you've been 5 minutes. I thought I'd crack these ghost symbols myself. His voice was filled with fatigue after the concert, and his eyes were filled with light. Yutong stepped forward, hugged her brother, and her shoulders shook. Brother Zay. You're fine, that's great. Li Zhe patted her on the back. Silly girl, I'm not that easy to fall. Qingyu, thank you. If it weren't for you, I would have become their data fertilizer. Jiahao begged Zhao Tian to the elevator, and Zijiang made a reply. Zhao Tian was still roaring. Do you think this is over? The roots of the shadow network are deep. Jiahao sneered and kicked him in the knee. Close your mouth, boss. Your quantum castle has collapsed, and the party is being beaten by my people on the internet. Ting rushed in from behind, sweating under his hood, holding a crowbar in his hand. God, the area outside the park is cleared. All the dog legs in the black market ran away. I intercepted their escape route, all sent to the police. He gasped and patted Qingyu on the shoulder. I owe you a piece of cake this time. Qingyu stood up, the handheld device was still buzzing, and finally the extremely password-like pieces rotated on the screen like a piece of paper. He took a deep breath and felt the fire in his chest finally calming down, not extinguishing, but transforming into a stable source of heat. It's not over yet. Xiao Tian, what do you mean? Let me see. He put on the VR lens and finally fell into the remaining system. The world has become a broken quantum forest, with data fragments falling like leaves and falling, and the impact of AI's guardianship is still slamming. But now, there is no pressure, only clarity. The fingers danced, touched the gloves and sent a light vibration. He injected the Shadow 47 quantum heart provided by the trader. The algorithm is like a key biting the lock core, and the ultimate password is fully solved, a series of dynamic quantum sequences that unlock the deep core of the Shadow network, the complete blue picture of the political and business network, from the signature file of the Qin member to the offshore account in Zhaotian, hundreds of money-washing records, and the AI model of stock market manipulation is completely exposed. It's done. Qingyu murmured, his heart swelling. This is not a simple crack, it's a rescue. That year, he was almost lost in the darkness of data in order to revenge his hatred. But tonight, for Li Zhe and the team, he used his golden finger to destroy the empire. This electricity changed like a rebirth, from a self-defeated lone wolf to a mature guardian. He felt that he finally grew up. In view of the blue picture, like a smoke, and every thread bites, brings a sense of righteous pleasure. The readers follow the final unblocking, the layer of the layer disintegrates, the pleasure is like a climax, lasting and satisfying. He switched to the transmission mode and pushed a full set of certificates in one key, the police station network, mainstream media servers, and even the anonymous forums in the black market. Data is like a flood, and news push instantly explodes the entire network. Giant financial quarrels are exposed. The film network group collapsed, senior political officials fell into power, and the truth about the clash of celebrities was revealed. On the screen, the hot search rose, the stock market shaking at night, and the stock market crashed, and the discussion was like wildfire spreading. Member Chen's office was brightly lit, and reporters surrounded the police station. Social shocks were like earthquakes. Every corner of the city was discussing the storm that emerged from the depths of data. Qingyu took off his glass and leaned against the wall. The dawn broke out outside the window. The first long sunlight shone in, reflecting the team's exhausted and burning face. A few days later, a low-key roast in the city center, the smoke trunks rose, scented with the aroma of cumin and beer. Qingyu leaned against the plastic chair, carrying a bottle of Icetown beer in his hand, and the night wind blew his hair. The lights are dim and yellow, and the neon lights on the high floors are like the flashes of the galaxy. This is their winning dinner, simple, grounded atmosphere, like the little luck of urban nightclubs. Li Zhe sat next to him, his arms hanging on his belt, but he was still so sarcastic when he smiled. Qingyu, the media chased me every day, saying I was a hero. But I told them that the real god is you. At the concert, I have to pay public tribute. I'll give my hacker brother, cracking the shadow and illuminating the stars. He held a cup, his eyes full of gratitude. Brother, I'm already happy without you. Fan data? Donate all to charity, never sell it. Yutong sat on the other side of Li Zhe, holding a plate of lamb skewers. Her face was red and snuggling. Brother Zhe said it right. Brother Qingyu, you saved our whole family. In those days, I thought the sky had fallen, but you are like light. She passed a skewer of grilled chicken wings and moved gently. I'll take care of the studio in the future. Don't fight alone again, okay? Qingyu smiled and bit her chicken wings. The spicy taste exploded on the tip of her tongue, making his heart warm. Thank you, Yutong. I wasn't a hero. After the exposure, the reporter blocked the door and I blocked the entire network directly. Low cost. I continued to be my hacker, but not for money, but for the city. The family chewed the strings with big mouthfuls, and the clothes were changed into casual clothes, and the old scars on their necks were even more frivolous under the lights. Boy, I love you. I was promoted to deputy commander from the bureau and was responsible for online crime. The film network was arrested. Zhao Tian and Chen's network collapsed, and the Monday's funding was over. The stock market was stable and the choices were clean. The society was shocking. The mayor apologized and said that he wanted to establish a data supervision method. He patted Qingyu. The back was as strong as the old guy's, but you refused to commend the order? Boy, heroes should not be low-key. Qingyu slammed his head, and the beer foam overflowed from the edge of the cup. Brother Jiahao, I don't love lights. The world of hackers is hidden in the shadows. The exposure of the Yin is to let the light come in, not to let me stand on the platform. After half an hour, when Yuding was pushing the door in, he was carrying a box of beer in his hand and his blue-green hair was flashing under the light. Sorry, great gods. After the black market was good, I got busy. He sat down and passed a document. Look, the police whitewashed my identity from the official interview with the line. I made meritorious in the case of the TV network. In the past, my sister's affairs made me hate this circle. But you, let me see the way out. Qingyu, thank you. Next time, I will cover you in the black market. Yuding's eyes were rarely wet, and he cried, Qingyu, the team will never go away. Everyone laughed in the crisp sound of beer glasses colliding. Li Zhe suddenly turned to Qingyu. His voice was low. Brother, remember that in KTV that year, you hacked my fan website, and after repairing it, you added a private firewall? Now, I understand. You are not a genius hacker, but a guardian. Qingyu was stunned for a moment, and a warm current surged in his heart. The reflection of growth was as mellow as beer. At first, he invaded for revenge and enjoyed the pleasure of control. But he changed after being defeated, chased, and team leader. Hackers are no longer games, but responsibility to prevent and protect innocent people. This change is not an abrupt pleasure, but a natural emotional climax that makes him feel complete. At the end of the dinner, Qingyu took out a small U-plate from his bag and sent it to everyone. The last thing. I developed a new tool, Light and Shadow Watch, an open-source AI firewall that can detect quantum-level data abnormalities and prevent severity. It's not about selling money, it's free to be posted online for free, so that the hacker circle's white hats can be used. Symbol Hope, the urban data network is no longer a trap, but a shield. Li Zhe's eyes lit up. Cool. My charity project is the first to use it. Jiahao pointed, it's also installed in the bureau. Boy, you're a fortune. Yutong smiled. Brother Qingyu, you've changed. Mature. Yuding smiled. Great God, awesome. Outside the stairs, the city's lights are like a star-like flash, the car flows are low-pitched, and the night wind brings the harbor's moisture. As the team dispersed, Qingyu walked into the night alone. Neon lights reflected on his face, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Hero light ring? He doesn't want it. His choice is to be low-key. But in the heart, the guardian flame will never be extinguished. The city continues to move, the shadow remains, and the light has arrived. The story ends here.